Hello and welcome back to Hardspace Shipbreaker. My name is Vilkata, and in this episode we are going to break down a Javelin of the refueling subcategory, and just gonna hop right into it. Alright, so right off the beginning, something you might notice if you're at the lower ranks, if you've done any of these supports right here do not require charges, but at the higher ranks they do. So I like to get rid of them right off the bat. They're kind of in your face, you know, right here in your way when you're going back and forth between the jack. And they're very valuable and they're very easy to destroy, which is why I'm using precision here as opposed to the spreader to cut these out. Now we don't need to separate all these pieces, we just need to get it off of this central support. And these rings, like I said, are very valuable, and a spreader touches this at all and it will cut it in half, or just damage it, and it will all be scrapped. So you want to avoid doing that. So send that guy down there. Let's pull this guy away from the ship so that we can pull him down later. Alright, so this this refueling one has coolant tanks instead of refueling tanks. These could be fuel tanks, but they are not on this case, which is fine. These are actually quicker and easier to move. So these are safe to cut out with a spreader as long as you're careful and get it down the line. So I'm just going to drift right along and get all these cut out. So let's speed it up real quick here. This is going to be very repetitive for a moment. Alright, this is a bunch of things to move, so... and they're all pretty heavy. Not the edge of the barge. Alright.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Get a good angle here, I can just sling these guys straight down. All the rest of them, though, I'm going to use tethers on them just because it's faster. If I get this straight line here, I can just drag these guys straight down.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
But these clamps that they're attached to on the sides and on the top, you can't just pull them straight down quite so easily because they need to kind of come out.
Salvage secured.
And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. See, I'm trying to drag it straight down. It's not... See, I had to pop outwards and go around because of the clamp. So it's not quite as simple for me to get that straight slingshot.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Oh. That guy was at an angle, so I'm going to let him get by before I start grabbing the other guys. These are coolant tanks. I don't really want to bounce them around too much. It's not billiard balls.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
These top ones are a little bit trickier. Just gonna... Actually, let's get the one on the far end first.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Get them up and over. So that we can get tethers on them. Up, over. Alright guys, don't float away, you're not balloons. And then we can toss all of them onto the barge. Where did everyone else go? Wow, they really wanted
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
to get away, didn't they? Careful there.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
All right. After we get these last guys out, and if you've seen my previous episodes,
Credits transferred.
I like to get as much as I can off the shell of a ship before I start going interior. I'll wait for that guy to move a little bit. There we go. Because it's the whole problem with the clamps.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Now, if this actually had fuel tanks, there are 3 fuel tanks at a time.
Credits deposited.
So imagine like we had all these coolant
Salvage
tanks.
gains observed.
There would have been 2 sets of 3 as opposed to 6 individuals. And so they're a little bit easier to move in the sense that they're attached. There we go. So let's get to decompressing
Salvage
the front
deposit
chamber.
accepted. Credits transferred.
And the thing about the Javelins is that there are 2 sets of chambers. The back is its own entity.
Airlock pressure levels dropping. Airlock pressure levels increasing.
Alright, let's see how uncooperative we're going to be here. Yeah. Broken regulator. Anything's floating around. That bottle's probably not attached. Let's close it in an airlock.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
And there will be an atmospheric regulator in this little sidecar, which is also broken. Alright, so this is going to be fun. How do we want to go about this? We could break the roof out. Normally I don't like to do that. Normally I prefer to break... There's a floor panel down here that I'll show you guys in a bit. But breaking the roof out... To get to the floor panel I have to remove that chair, which will also move the computer terminals. Let's...
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Let's unsecure the top panel here. Now, the top panel is still attached to the vessel outside. So it's still being held in place, but it is no longer attached.
Airlock pressure levels increasing.
And this way we can depressurize it from the outside, which will at least
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
make us a little safer. And then we're going to depressurize the rest of this through the front. Now, I don't normally bother taking this plate off the front, but if I have to do a depressurization, this is really the safest way, because there's just nothing to blow out here other than, well, me. Ooh, that was noisy. Would you please switch the grappler? Thank you.
All right, Cutter, you got 5 minutes left of this shift before they turn the lights out on you. Bitter batter. We wrap.
So that depressurized the interior chamber. And then we can just go through and do one chamber at a time.
Awarded.
It's much safer to do one at a time. Alright. And then the airlock should just depressurize now that it knows it's going to
Airlock pressure levels
a depressurized
increasing.
area. That way the bottle that I put in there, or anything I would have put in there, doesn't go, you know, flying around.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Alright.
Airlock pressure levels increasing.
We gotta go through the increase and then the decrease, so we can actually get out.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
And let's get these ladders out of the way.
Oxygen reserves are low. Reminder, asphyxiation can lead to missed salvage quotas.
So we still gotta depressurize the sidecar.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Yep, it's still pressurized, but we have already detached the interior. Get this thing out of the way so we can get to our oxygen.
Warning, oxygen reserves are critical.
Alright, we're gonna trust that's gonna continue on. And this is where it can get a little dangerous. We might have to salvage this quickly, because if anything does bounce around, there are some electronics in there that can not appreciate it. Alright. That went pretty well. So again, this is one of the ways you can open these up. This isn't the way I prefer to do
Credits
it.
deposited.
I normally like to leave this roof attached to the whole unit. And I'm going to show you the way I normally would open this up.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Move the chair out of the way. Now there's this little secret compartment down here that actually sometimes has stuff in it. If the stupid plate will come out. Now we took out 2 supports on the top, which is
Salvage
normally something you would have to do anyway.
Account credit applied.
Then you have these 2 hidden supports under the floorboard. And if you take those out, you can take out the front of the cockpit. Now we're going to set this aside because it has glass in it that we could salvage. But unlike in the mackerel, it's not very valuable because it's very thin.
Salvage
Not a
secured.
whole lot of it.
Credits deposited.
And see, when you take this front piece out,
Time is winding down,
it's
Cutter.
real easy to salvage this whole
Keep
thing.
and let's finish strong.
And it is still attached to the ship. There is a pair of supports on the bottom.
Salvage secured.
And I'm leaving it
Credits
attached
deposited.
because while I'm detaching these things from the cockpit, it's not pulling it around, it's holding it in place. And this kind of makes things easier. Stuff doesn't move on you.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
And this little compartment down here, like I said, it can have stuff in it. Sometimes I've found hard drives, I've found just like food and stuff, and I've found credits. So overall, I feel like it's the best way to go about getting in there. I wanted to get that cut before the end of the shift. Alright, so 3.7 million on the first shift. That is pretty awesome. These Javelins can churn money pretty fast. But 2.1 on those coolant tanks is a big deal. And the ion ring, it's a 630, and these always have one on the front. This particular one seems to have one in the back, which is not common, but hey, that's more money. So let's move on to the next shift. Shift number 2. Now I'm gonna leave this front part alone for now. On these javelins, I like to work back to front. I guess there's no real particular reason. Well, I guess that's not entirely true. So the middle of the ship is kind of a pain to operate around. This, breaking all this apart, becomes a little challenging. A little time consuming. So I have 10 demo charges, and I'm going to preset these because I'm not going to use them anywhere else.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
And it's going to take more than the 10 that I have. And currently in the game, if you've upgraded from your starting 5, then at the beginning of every shift it resets it to 10. Which I don't know if that's intentional, but we're definitely going to take advantage of it. And we're going to use up all of them, so that next shift we can use them to break open the rest of the stuff without having to spend money to buy more. Alright, that's all 10 of them. I'm not going to bother detonating them, I just wanted them in place. Now let's take a look at the back. I should have saved 2 of them for these rings, but that's okay because we don't have to take out the rings on this shift. And yeah, the whole thing is pressurized. Do we have a door, or do we have to go through the back? I don't think there's a door on the side. There is not. Alright. So let's see how bad this is going to be for our depressurization.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Everything in the ship that you really don't want to break is all going to be right here.
Airlock pressure levels increasing.
Ooh, money. Money, 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 money. And it is broken, as we expected. Alright, well, we need to not have things floating around in here, including all of these nice credit drives. Yeah, I suddenly like this ship. So ideally, we would push all of these into the airlock and try to get them all out. But everything here is floating. It would take us forever to do that. So we're going to do something really dangerous and probably very stupid. Which is that we're going to break the airlock. Now, we could go through the back. We could also try to go through these supports. But that is the reactor. And we don't want anything flying towards the reactor. Alright. Everyone cross your fingers. And hope for the best. So I'm gonna ride this out. I'm gonna position myself to ride. I'm not gonna grab the wall. I'm gonna try to just fly forward with it because I don't want to be crushed by whatever's gonna come at me. And let's hope that this doesn't blow up the ECU or the reactor. Oh, yeah, baby! I'm coming here and make sure the ECU's first. Alright, it's fine, yeah. Nothing wrong with the coolant. Alright, we got away with that. And it's something you really need to be conscious of when you're doing explosive decompression, is that which direction is the air going to go? And, you know, is that gonna
Salvage
damage
secured.
something
Account
along the way?
credit applied.
The reason why I'm bothering with these
Object
bottles
accepted for processing.
is
Credit
because
deposited.
they're not worth anything, but there's a sticker. You can get a sticker for it. As you can see all the stickers on my grabber already. And a bunch of them on my cutter as well. All the stuff I've unlocked. Or achieved, because it's not really an unlock. So I'm not gonna...
Salvage
Normally I would do
secured.
the back right
Credits
now,
deposited.
but I need explosives to get rid of these rings. And I think I'm gonna go back to the front and just work on it. But while we're here, let's get this thruster cap off. And next shift we're gonna come back here and start working on the back half.
Processing valuable objects.
Alright.
Credits awarded.
We blew stuff out all over the place. Is that pressurized? It is not. Okay. Let's break this door off. That might have been part of the door that we blew off just a moment ago.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Yeah, it's gonna be little pieces all over the place.
Airlock pressure levels increasing.
See, it's trying to pressurize. Would you stop doing that, please? You're not gonna... Is it gonna stop? It's not gonna stop. Alright. Alright, well, it's just gonna keep blowing air out. Yeah, that's not normal. But you know what? We don't care. We still get to salvage these doors, which normally we wouldn't bother cutting out. So, it's a profit for us. Alright, now let's get inside and detach the front portion. Now, I'm not going to cut everything out. I'm always careful about these because they're near the airlocks, which we know can break really easily. Now, rule of thumb on all ships is to remove the power generator last. So it's powering aspects of the vessel, so you don't want to remove them. And these supports here have a mount on the back of it. You can bother to cut them out if you want to, and then cut the mount off the back. Let's see if I can cut some of it off here. But I've gotten to the point to where, on the Javelin specifically,
Got about 5 minutes left in this shift, Cutter.
I don't bother.
Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Because this
We've
whole section is all processor. So the supports are processor, the ring is processor, the walls are processor.
Warning. Oxygen reserves are low.
So you want to grab the ring and the wall. see it'll start to peel away.
Deposit accepted.
Let's grab some air real quick. We're going to throw another tether or two in there in a moment when it turns.
Welcome to Venditron.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
There we go. Grab the far part of the ring. And that's another reason why I like to leave those supports on there, is because the ring catches it and it helps it pull it forward. And I'm not bothering to take the mount off that top one. It's just so negligible. But you see how much of this we got by not taking out all of the cutting points. And that gave us access to the rest of this here. Now since we've detached this little piece is like a key piece. It can come off. Just like that. This way we can get this out. Now, as far as this goes,
Object accepted for processing.
I don't have a clean way of removing it. I just use a tether. Why did that break off? It's still moving, but we want to speed it up a little bit here. We need this to get out of the way, please. It seems to be stuck on something.
Processing valuable objects.
That should roll it out. Alright, there we go. I want it out of the way because this is the direction I'm going to roll this. I want to roll it away from the opening. Now, another secret in the game is that objects, like light objects, can influence heavy objects. Kind of like a bug, I don't know. But you're able to move things
Valuable object processed.
by pushing smaller things into it. So, grabbing the airlock, I can press it up, and it'll help move the larger, heavier thing that it's running into. Even if your grapple isn't strong enough to move the heavy thing, you can push it with little objects. There we go. It came free pretty cleanly. Oh, I sent the airlock to the. Why didn't you guys tell me? Oh well. Let's grab the console. That was a goof. I was so busy talking about this, I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. Walk and chew bubblegum at the same time.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credit transfer.
Okay, so we got a bunch of junk in here to remove.
1 minute left, Cutter. Time to start wrapping things up. Weaver out.
I want to cut the floor out. Makes things easier. Light trying to sneak its way out.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Start cleaning this out a little bit. So, I'm not going to fully empty this right now because, you know, I mentioned I do these ships from back to front. And the point here is that I'm going to eventually want to take this wall out so that it's easier for me to reach through. And I can't do that until I remove the power generator. Yeah, destroyed an airlock. Darn it. Don't know where I lost the console. Alright, but 1.3 million. Not a bad day. Alright, let's get to shift 3 and the back of the vessel. Alright, third shift. We're going straight to the back. See, now with the demo charges, they are all still there. I'm not going to have enough to clear everything on this shift, but I want to kind of equalize the blasts left and right here. Actually, I think I have exactly the amount I need. Yeah. I have exactly what I need. So let's go ahead and place all of these. Big bada boom. There's a credit there. Gimme. Money. Alright. We need to break this free. And we need to break these free. I don't have any of the upgrades for the, reducing the size of the explosion. I haven't really found it necessary, and sometimes I like to cut things open with it, so, maybe I'll do it in the future. Alright, let's go! Now what that's doing is it's separating the outer ring from the inner ring here in the middle, because the outer ring is all nanocarbon and the interior ring all goes into the furnace. Bye.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Oop. Yeah, it might help if we break this the rest of the way free.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred. Salvage gained. Rewards increasing.
Alright, that piece is free. Well, it sure doesn't look like that's cut, does it? There it goes. Alright. So, let's get inside. We need to unlock the thruster and then start cutting things out.
Salvage secured.
Don't like being as close to the reactor. Gotta be done. See, that's usually a bad idea. Let's get this guy out from the inside. Normally you'd see me do this from the outside, and this is why. You know what? You can just stay there. I need to get the back off of this. Go, please. I'm not gonna thrust it because it's kind of a valuable thing. This will be a lot less claustrophobic once I can start taking these rings off. this case, I am going to go ahead and, I think, take these guys out. Just because I need to be a little more careful about dragging things around. Really don't like being this cozy with the reactor. Alright, this is also going to give us a window out. Go ahead and cut this mount off the back.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
That's going to make it easier to move this piece.
Processing valuable objects. Credits awarded.
I mentioned earlier that moving a small object can move a large object. You see how out of place this is now? That was just from it getting bumped. Kind of defies physics. And it doesn't make things easier on us because I wanted it facing the other way so I could grab this corner over here and roll it around, but it'll still be fine. Guide it over to the side a little bit, keep it away from the furnace. Try to get this guy up, he's gonna hit the ring though. Yeah. Give it just a little bit of push there. Try to slow it down, make it a little easier for me to cut. Alright.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Now when I said on the other one I like to roll it around, I'm grabbing the outside here so that it will turn, which will take the left side will roll out away from the edge. See, it flips it around like that way it doesn't catch on anything. And then we're going to pull this bad boy forward. Cancel it.
Oxygen reserves are critical. Affordable oxygen
Time to
supplies
go
are
get some air.
available for purchase at the Master Jack.
Welcome to Visitron.
Object successfully stabilizing. Credits deposited.
So we need to get this ring off of here. It's going to be in the way.
Salvage secured. Account credit.
Cutter, there's 5 minutes remaining in this shift. Get in while the getting's good. We wrap.
Salvage secured.
So just like that
Credits
previous ring,
deposited.
what I like to do anytime I need, because it's around something that I don't want to break. So I'm going to do on the bottom and grab on the top and pull it straight away from anything that I don't want it bumping into.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
And then just cancel it. So I kind of want to turn. See, I want to turn it away so it doesn't catch. And that second one there was just to keep it from swinging to the right, just to make sure I don't get too close to the furnace. And now we need to remove this guy right here. Don't know that I got... Yeah, I don't think I cut all of that. Man, some more money. There's money everywhere. I really am liking this ship all of a sudden. So there are supports going to this back wall that I don't want to break. I'll explain that also later.
Credits awarded.
This right here, these are the ones I need. I think that's gonna get this whole ring freed. We're gonna do the same as we did to the other ring. We need this to come as straight as we can. A little bit low, a little bit high. Come on. Shouldn't be attached to anything. Did we miss something? Huh. Alright, well, we'll break these back ones out. This is not something normally we want to do. And the reason is because they're attached to this ring on the outside that we want to keep control of. But it's not critical. This is a time-saving thing, and a lot of this is about saving time. But when something won't move, start cutting more things until it starts moving. Doesn't look like it's moving still.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Okay, I'm not sure why it's not moving. This is an unusual configuration for this ship. I haven't run into it before. So something is attached, or maybe hard attached.
Carter, we're getting down to the wire. Let's put a bow on this ship.
Alright, well, we don't need this part here anymore. That's not part of the coolant, that went towards the thruster.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
A little bit at a loss here. I think we're gonna have to do this the hard way. Let's break this out first. So this is what was previously attached to that wall, and we will eventually cut these out. But maybe they're... Yeah, maybe that's what's holding us up. Maybe that's all attached. Alright, 1.7. What shift are we on? 4, I think? I'll have to replay it and look. Yeah, we're on shift 4. I can come by the timer. The record timer. So normally these things come apart. But this is one of the fun things about this game, right? It is a puzzler. And you kind of got to figure out what's going on. Oh boy. These are attached out here now. Most of the javelins, this part will come apart on its own. This is highly unorthodox. Actually, we want to make sure we don't want to go down. We want to go across. I was hoping to have this open so I could show you how everything is attached and why you don't have to do certain cuts. But I think in this scenario, we need to break all this free ahead of time. And maybe from the front I'll be able to show you the way I normally would go about this. It's not a... Oops, no, I did not want to do that. Okay. I thought that was going to be a hard point. Sometimes they are. Come on. Move this out of the way. No, not that way. Oh, alright. You heard me.
Processing valuable objects. Credits awarded.
I need to free these airlocks, because they are holding all this together. And it is two airlocks that are sandwiched in together, so that's why there was two yellow things right there. We gotta cut through the middle. Looks like my cutter could use some repairs. The temperature, max temperature is diminishing. Tell my thrusters are in need of repair too, because you can hear them. Alright, we already got both of those. So these stray pieces right here that we cut off, normally they would be attached to this whole ring. That's why I didn't want to take out those other cut points. But when something's not cooperating, I said you just start cutting.
Valuable object processed.
That was the top of that side compartment. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, that's not good. I want to separate it from the... Alright, so clearly this whole thing is attached. I think what's going on here is that this walkway right here is really the source of the whole problem. Let's break the tethers. I think we're just going to have to do this the hard way. We're going to have to, you know, normally we like to have a nice clean shot to the ground for the reactor. But the ring doesn't seem to want to come across. And the whole problem here is that the ECU is going to be attached to the floor unit.
Credits transferred.
And if I detach the floor unit, I'm going to have to detach the ECU. And that's probably going to start a meltdown. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make it so that in an emergency, we can get to the reactor as fast as possible. And then we're going to try to figure out how we can remove this ring. You know, see if we can detach the ECU without it breaking away from the reactor. This could be very dangerous.
Object accepted for processing.
That's one of the things I like about this game. Even though you've done a ship a number of times, there are so many little variants that they can throw you. You gotta stay on your toes. You still gotta figure out the twist. So I came into this tutorial expecting it to be nice, clean, and easy and show you what I already know. Instead, you're going to see the learning process. So you need to make sure we remove all of these panels, which will free up the end cap. Any panels left? One more.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
So this end cap should be free. Should be free. Wow, this whole ship is just gonna be not cooperative. Alright, so the end cap is not gonna come free even though it normally does. But you know what? It's okay because it's the same place that the reactor goes. Alright, so here's gonna be the big risk. We're going to try to free the ECU from the panel without moving the ECU. And that's not going to work. Alright. Cross your fingers. Yep, it's all one piece. I mean, nothing bad happened, so, there's that. And I think that now it's technically separated.
Raw material processed.
Let's try one more time. Pull this forward. There we go. Ooh, don't be bumping. Oh, this is so dangerous. Alright.
Your oxygen reserves are low. Note that excess carbon dioxide can cause damage to Link's equipment.
So we're gonna allow the tether to pull for us. Actually, no, we're not, because that whole thing's light. Let's just do this the old-fashioned way. Start charging up.
Reactor meltdown triggered. Action urgently required.
All right.
Ship teardown complete. Cutter account credit.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Let's go get some oxygen.
Reserves are critical. Please contact your plan administrator to add asphyxiation coverage.
Welcome to the Detroit Night.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
And let's clean this up. So you need to open up the ECU. And take all the coolant out of it.
Left in this ship. Knock out that work order before they turn the lights out on you. We were out.
That off. That off. Please not take everything with you.
Salvage secured.
So
Account credit
I'm gonna
applied.
try to shave this off the bottom, but I don't know that I can. These aren't normally attached to the floor. And I don't want to damage the ECU. It's a lot of money. But if we can salvage, you know, some of this nanocarbon. Titanium, I guess. Yeah, see, it's still... even though we can see it's not attached, it thinks it is. We're just wasting our time. We'll just let it go.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
And clean all this up.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
And this is already separated, right? Looks like. And let's give this guy a new home. Okay, I'll do this kind of wide because it's so close to the furnace, it can easily be grabbed by the furnace. Kind of escort it. See, I flipped it around that way because I want this piece that's pointing out to not get caught by that wall. Because the furnace will suck it in. And there's just nothing you can do about it at that point.
Processing valuable objects.
So normally all of that
Credits awarded.
would have been connected to that one piece. And I wouldn't have to send it all in separately.
Credits applied. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred. Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Valuable object processed.
Alright, so we need to separate this. From that wall unit.
All right, Cutter. Wrap it up. You got about a minute left.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
See, I don't use tethers for everything. Alright, we're gonna split this out. This is where we're going to return to for our last shift. $4 million payday. Pretty nice, pretty nice. See, we didn't really destroy much. This is good. This is a good, you know, these are acceptable losses. Alright, so I repaired my thrusters and my cutter between shifts. They're both getting a little worse for wear.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
Get this stuff out of the way, please. So these are two separate segments. Try and straighten out a little bit. Now what I'm trying to get away with is this whole part here in the middle can be all one piece. And I can get away with not having to cut it up, then great. It's just easier to, you know, dump it all in the furnace all in one shot. This is mostly processor. There's little pieces here and there that are furnace, but it's just not worth it. All right. Now let's free up this other one here. Okay, let's make sure I had decompressed the airlock as well. Now the ring that I'm inside of, this thing right here, is unattached. I can pull it out. I'm just kind of waiting for the other one to get out of the way and start pre-cutting this. See, most of those shouldn't be straight because they're attached to something, which is typically what we want to keep. Alright. Let's see if we can get away with pulling this guy off as well. Often I'll break this middle part in half. But I'm not gonna bother with it in this one. See if I can get away with pulling this whole thing off straight. See, most of it is processor, and I'm not going to bother shedding the furnace part, because there's even processor parts amongst the furnace parts. Just not worth the effort. Let's grab our door panel. Yeah, let's cancel the tethers. Safer not to drag it all the way to the back if it's not necessary. Keep it away from the furnace. And let's start freeing these airlocks. We do want to free this part up. We need to be able to break that wall out so that we can get the airlocks out. And again, I like to cut from the inside outwards, so there's less chance of my spreader hitting something important or valuable. Alright, so
Valuable object processed.
here comes the question, is this it's moving. It's a good sign. Make sure we got the console off of the thing there. Did not. See, all of this is furnace. I mean, there's a door in that wall, which we've covered in previous episodes. Not typically worth cutting it out. Unless the door's already closed. Even then, it's not always worth cutting it out.
Salvage secured.
So that's the ring
Account
between the
credit applied.
two airlocks. Check on it. Make sure it's going where it should. It is. Alright. Door. Alright. So let's cut the rest of this out. Actually, let's get our fuses. Always wait until the light is out. Turn the handle.
Ship salvage in full. Credits applied.
Alright, that's our level 5 milestone. Now see, like I tried in the other area, I'm not detaching those. Because if I cut those, then they're detached from these wall segments that I'm cutting out right now. I'd rather just drag it all in at once. And the lights are going faster on this. Every time you take a fuse out, the other ones get more dangerous. Alright. So now that all the fuses are done, everything else is taken care of, we can go ahead and get rid of the generator.
Warning. Your oxygen reserves are dropping below
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Let's see if we can get away with just doing a straight pull here. See, normally, like I said, I don't normally have to cut those out. Looking good, looking good. Look better if that had cut cleanly.
Oxygen reserves are critical.
Alright.
Affordable oxygen supplies are available for purchase at the master jack.
So all we gotta do really is empty that one last room.
Welcome to Vintage.
Oxygen level stabilizing.
Now, on the wall that had the power generator, this little thing down here is a computer terminal. It's a little nodule there. Usually a couple of... There we go. A couple of quick cuts will free it up.
Alright, Cutter, you got 5 minutes left of this shift before they turn the
It's
lights
not
out.
necessary to take this wall out.
Pitter patter. We
I'm
rock.
doing so because it's going to be easier for me to empty the room. Like I mentioned that a couple of shifts ago. That eventually I would come back and free up that wall. Because we already took the floor out. So now we can just do this.
Material deposited. Processing valuable object.
It would help if the room would stop moving on me.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Also, you'll find in these some of these ships that there are tables, which we have one in this room. And strangely enough, so it's a furnace item. It's going to go in there and be smelted down. It's this thing right here,
Salvage deposit
which I
accepted.
can detach.
Credits transferred.
If you damage it, it will turn it into scrap and will become less valuable. Doesn't make any sense to me because it's still going into the furnace either way. But you gotta be careful not to damage it. And I'm not gonna bother removing it because the whole shell is gonna go anyway. So, you know what's the point, right?
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
And these pipes up on the ceiling, I have never found a safe way of cutting these out without them blowing up. So I just consider them a loss. I mean, they're small. There's not really a whole lot to them anyway. Okay, last few items out to the floor. Two and a half minutes, we have plenty of time. And you probably know this if you've played this already, but you can salvage these tiny little lights. I'm not sure they actually have any value. They're 0 kg. And, you know, I used to meticulously salvage them when I first started, but I never saw any benefit in it. I mean, you can argue that these little lights aren't really worth it either.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
But I still try to grab those. They at least have a value. Okay, so we're going to check the outside for any heat sink walls, the heat spreaders. I don't remember if we had any heat sinks. Nope.
Deposit
So we got a minute. So let's, you know, I mentioned that there are doors in the walls.
Salvage
So let's grab one,
deposit accepted. Credits
just
transferred.
for an example. If I didn't already cut this one out when it was closed. Yeah, it's not in the wall. I think I cut it out when it was closed. That was one of the ones that went to
Time
the
is
compartment.
winding down, Cutter. Dig deep and let's finish strong.
Yep, that one's there. We gotta be fast about this. It's not gonna come out easy. 40 seconds, let's not risk it. Got quite a ways to drag this thing. And I have my doubts on whether or not we're gonna get it in there in time. Probably not. Definitely not. Alright, well, we're definitely not coming back for another shift to get this little piece of aluminum in there. No big deal. Alright, so 5 shifts. That's about standard. And another 1.6 on that final day. So, yeah, good run. And, you know, we ran into some new stuff in the back with the second ion rings, which caused some problems because that whole section didn't want to come apart. But that's part of the challenge. You know, you gotta be willing to try something new, even on a ship that you're familiar with. And, you know, when all this fails, just start cutting everything up. But thank you for hanging out here with me, and you know, if you're a return viewer, then thank you for coming back. If you're a new viewer, feel free to, you know, go back and look at some of the previous Hardspace Shipbreaker episodes. You know, this is not really a career episode, although I am playing career mode. This is a kind of a how-to on the various different ships. But thanks again, and you know, if you have any questions or suggestions, then you know, leave me a comment, and if you enjoyed it, then leave me a like. But hopefully I'll see you again next time.